And I'd like to have you you've talked with me about it, pick up on that, would you, and just give people a sense of what that would mean?
Well, I think importantly, it's about creating a vision. We know with your leadership and the church's leadership what the church and how it needs to service the community. But we need to then understand what kind of resources are required to meet that vision. We need to understand, first of all, what's changed demographically. Because every organization, every community, every need of our parishioner is always constantly changing. And we must adapt to that change. And the fact that we have over 1 million Catholics and the needs of our communities are changing, we must take that into account as to how we're going to provide sufficient resources to invest in those missions and set the strategies and the objectives with this overall vision. And that's very, very important. So I'm always looking at the big picture, not just where we are today in a microcosm, but where we need to be in a macro sense several years from now. Because it's very important to manage an organization and to lead an organization with hope and with optimism and dealing with a position of strength, not a position of weakness. Mm-hmm. And certainly the services we provide are those that provide opportunity to our parishioners. And I want to make sure that there's enough financial resources to meet all the needs of our 5 ministries. So it's about establishing a vision that's so important. And then communicating effectively and consistently to everyone about that vision, about the new business model and the new operating model. Because you said it well, it's about servicing our pastors and servicing those that service the people.
And people don't always see the connectedness.
Right.
That these two actually have to go hand in hand in order that we can do the good things we do. When first I came here, I was able, because of my own experience pastorally, to know what we needed to do in terms of diocesan level pastoral activities.
Right.
And we've grown in that tremendously. I'm very happy that the things that have done with the hospitals, the things that have been done with campus ministry, with faith formation, the things that have been done in a number of areas with young people, with vocations, with our seminary, what we've done with Long Island Catholic, all to make them better instruments. They're good instruments, but we always could get a little bit better. Where I didn't have the good connectedness was in to say, who's going to help me do the things that I can't do?
Right.
And I that's why, in a certain sense, I'm looking at you and saying, this is the man who's going to get all of the things that I have worried about but wasn't able to solve. And so I'm giving you a tremendous, first of all, a great act of faith and confidence in you, but also I know it's a tremendously big challenge.
Thank you. Thank you. I think importantly, too, to that point, there is a great interdependency that we have as one church between the generosity of our parishioners who provide us with money in the offertory every Sunday, together who provide us with money with local development activities, together with the Catholic Ministries Appeal. And that money not just serves the parish, but serves us as a church to make the proper investments that are needed in the other ministries, like charities, like schools, like vocation and faith formation. So really what I've learned as a Catholic, just being here 6 months, is that I've always viewed it from a standpoint of my local parish, not recognizing that my contribution to that parish also is making a contribution to our church.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to take a break now, and when I come back, it'd be helpful for you to say a few words about our sources of income and how it is that all these good things are supported by the people of God in their generosity.
I'm happy to do that.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Faith and New Works. Today I'm talking with the recently appointed Chief Operating Officer of the Diocese of Rockville Centre. He is also a member of my cabinet, Charles Trunz. I'm glad to have you with us today, and I'm happy that people will be able to hear from you some of the things that have taken up your energies and your talents these last almost 6 months you've been with us. You know, we were talking a little bit about money, and I think people sometimes think that maybe I've got a hidden treasure somewhere. Could you just help people understand how it is that we survive financially?
Certainly. I think very, very importantly, we survive on the generosity of our parishioners and other Catholics that donate to the Catholic Church. We have several sources, main sources of income. We certainly have the offertory, which are the collections of Sunday Mass. We have the Catholic Ministries Appeal, which is so important in providing funding for our 5 ministries. We have tuition that is paid by the parents to send their children to our elementary and high schools. We have, importantly, local parish and school advancement and development opportunities. And in some cases related to Catholic charities, we have some government grants that also the government is helping support many of the ministries that Catholic Charities provides in terms of services. And that's the sources of our income. And part of my job as Chief Operating Officer is to understand not just the source today, but what are those sources going to be 5 years from now, in order for us to invest in the 5 ministries, those 5 ministries that we provide to our parishioners. And that's a very, very important task.
Now, you and I are helped by the fact that we have the Diocesan Finance Council.
Yes.
And it's a group of very hardworking, distinguished men and women, who, none of whom I knew, by the way, when I first came here, but all of whom have become truly right hands for us in the work that we carry on. They give us their counsel and their advice, and they kind of are a check on us, and they're all volunteer people.
Right.
Now, we have to take that, and then you have to translate it into, you talked about the 200 entities, but I think most people will think of terms of their own parishes, you said earlier.
Right.
So what are you finding about our parishes? What are the challenges and the opportunities?
Well, I think the parishes have a great opportunity in the future, because the parishes, we start with the pastoral side. That is what we're about strategically. And so allowing the pastors to have the time and the energy and the commitment to practice and engage in their vocation, and that is to reach out to the Catholics and the parishioners in their community, is the most important thing. It's a liturgical side, and everything they do is so important. And so what we're going to do over time is begin to look administratively how those parishes are structured, and how can create more operational efficiencies within those parishes to allow the pastors to have more time to spend on their vocation and on ministry, and to allow myself and my team, through a shared service center concept, to provide more of the administrative support. And that way we're going to create a more efficient operation. We're going to allow the pastors to spend their time appropriately on their vocation and in their ministries. And my team that has the expertise in administrative and temporal side will spend time servicing them. Again, everything that I'm trying to do is to create a service for the pastors and all of our services, to provide that expertise to allow the pastors to spend more time on the ministries. And that's a change in the operating model.
It also means we have to look at one another in a different way. We're not 133 separate little corps, are we?
No. And that's important for us internally as an organization, and also for us as parishioners, and myself as a parishioner, in understanding that, being a Catholic is a way of life. I always decide that being a Catholic is a way of life. It's the way I've been brought up. It's the way we've been brought up in terms of the importance of the sacraments, of education, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we engage as a community. And so we're managing our church increasingly, not just pastorally, which has always been a community, but now temporally as a community. How we help one another grow. And so as a parishioner, we're working hard. I need to help the pastors and the parishioners understand that the investment they make in the offertory and in Catholic Ministries Appeal is not just importantly for that parish, but for us as a church to invest in other ministries. And so as a Catholic, the money that I invest and I give to St. Mary's Manhasset not just goes for that parish, but goes for all the ministries in serving our Catholic Church of Long Island.